know that a lot of people, they interested in this program, and they have a lot of questions about this program, about this 12 weeks of a cohort, about this education model, about topics that you will learn about future career paths in the clouds, AWS cloud, and so on and so forth. And today we decided to run the session just to talk a bit more about this program. First, explain rules, not like just rules, but probably the purpose of this program, goals, and so on. Share some feedback from other people who are graduated, who were graduated from this program previously in different countries, and tell you their stories, stories of success, of successful changes in their life and switching to career paths of the cloud architects and the cloud engineers. Today, I have two other speakers together with me. So first of all, my name is Ruslan Klusov. I am a senior solutions architect at SoftServe, lead of AWS Center of Excellence. So all my activities, that's everything related to AWS Cloud, Amazon Web Services. I'm also AWS ambassador, and I have two other guests on this webinar together with me. So first, that's Jarek Grabel, who is AWS solutions architect from my team. Jarek, probably a couple of words about yourself.
I was pretty sure you're going to let the women speak first, but that's the gentleman you are. So hello, everyone. My name is Jarek Grabel. As Ruslan mentioned, I'm part of this team in the Center of Excellence in SoftServe, primarily dealing with all the AWS related solutions, working with customers across the globe. And I'm also AWS ambassador. So I'll probably pass it over to Claire now, so she can speak on behalf of AWS. So that's AWS.
Thanks, guys. Lovely to meet you all today. Thanks for joining. I'm Claire Spiller. I run our AWS Restart program across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And I'm delighted to be joining one of our key partners, SoftServe, today as we launch the program for the first time in Poland. I'll tell you more about the program shortly. Thank you.
Thanks, Claire. Thanks, Jarek, as well for the introduction. So Jarek will tell a bit more about his personal experience, and Claire, as she mentioned, she'll talk about the program itself. Yeah, but before we start with the Restart program, let me probably share with you quite amazing program that we had at SoftServe a couple of years ago, and because of that program that we had a couple of years ago, we decided to launch this Restart cohort because our program was successful. Restart program, it is successful. And the story of this, I joined AWS reInvent last year. reInvent, that's probably the most important cloud event in the world. So that's about all new features, services, innovations, trends, and so on. AWS once per year organizes this event in Las Vegas. So that's on-site event for a couple of days. And we have a bunch of clients, partners across the globe. They visited this location, they collaborate, they build in this networking, and so on. And I joined a couple of sessions where AWS team represented this Restart program and shared their experience onboarding people, helping them to change their career, change their path, and actually change their life. And I was so excited that time, and I actually met, like, that was like an informal event. I met a couple of people from AWS and started asking about this program to get more information, and asked them if it was possible to launch this program for two other countries, for Poland and Ukraine. Originally, we wanted to target these two countries. The idea was to translate the content to Polish and Ukrainian languages and deliver content in those languages. And that was something that we agreed on. But later things happened. And unfortunately, right now, the program for Ukraine, the start of this program for Ukraine is postponed. But for the first cohort, we decided to focus not only on people in Poland, unemployed, underemployed people in Poland, but also we decided to ask Ukrainian refugees, people who had to leave their houses, people who had to change their life, ask them to join and also participate in this program and give them this opportunity to change their life and support them with these changes. So that's why the first program, the first cohort in Poland will be delivered in English and will be focused on people from two countries. Later this year and next year, as we originally planned, next cohort will be in Polish, and later, probably next year, we'll launch cohorts for Ukraine in Ukrainian. Anyway, that's about Restart. And before we restart, as I mentioned previously, at SoftServe, we had junior DevOps hiring day event about 3 years, actually. Yes, 2022, so 3 years ago. Oh gosh, 3 years ago, I had an idea to help people. We had a bunch of questions from the people who wanted to change their career and who wanted to start learning AWS Cloud. AWS Cloud, that's the most popular cloud so far among other cloud providers, and that's really a driver of all the innovations that we have in cloud world. And the people asked me if there was a possibility to join our Center of Excellence at SoftServe and start working as a cloud engineers. And I realized that people who asked me to do that, they had like some background. They realized that they could work with the cloud because they had experience in the Linux administration, some high-level knowledge of automation, and so on and so forth. And we decided to start this event, to conduct this event in Kyiv, Ukraine, and we got attention for this event. We got 50 plus people registered for this event, participated in the first tour. First tour, that was like some home task. We asked people to use documentation, all available materials from AWS, just to build the solution for migration from on-premises data center to cloud. So a simple request, you can really review a couple of video lessons, you can read AWS documentation and provide your solution, provide your thoughts. After that, we selected 25 plus finalists and asked them to participate in the in-person tour and join our in-person tour workshop and interview in Kyiv's office. And they all joined it, and as a result, we selected 3 winners, and those winners, they got the job in our AWS Critical Services COE at SoftServe. And they started working as a cloud engineers. And next 1 year, that was like a 1-year journey, they really promoted themselves. They filled in their knowledge gaps. They got required knowledge and expertise working on different projects as a junior experts. And in 1 year, they successfully passed associate exams, associate solution architects exams from AWS. And they successfully passed our People Excellence evaluation and started working as intermediate engineers. And that was a success. Right now, 2 of them are still working at SoftServe on strategic projects, really strategic projects. Unfortunately, I cannot tell names of those projects, but trust me, I believe all of you use the services, the solutions provided by those clients in your life. So really strategic projects for SoftServe. And one of these experts decided to change SoftServe to another organization. And again, I'm happy for him because it means that he successfully passed an interview for that third-party employer and actually got this job. So extremely happy for those people. Happy with the success of that program, and mention the success of that program that we conducted by ourselves. And knowing this feedback for the Restart program from AWS, we decided to join our efforts and run this program together. So, Claire, if you don't mind, could you please talk a bit more about Restart and your experience with this?
Sure, I'd love to. So our program Restart has now been running for nearly 6 years. So I think it's important to mention that whilst we're excited to launch in Poland, we're picking up a really trusted model that's been achieving some great results. And the most important result by far is not just people completing the program or passing an exam, but most importantly, securing a full-time, permanent new career in tech. So that's what our program is all about. And that's where it started. So it started with our customers and partners like SoftServe saying, look, we need to do more with AWS services, but the limiting factor for us isn't budget or willingness to do it. It's actually finding enough people to work in the cloud and to work with AWS products. And this was a problem 6 years ago. And if you read any study out there now or looked at the number of cloud vacancies on LinkedIn in any country, you'll see it's still a big problem now. So we worked back from our customers and partners, and we tried to understand how we could build a program that would help people to be able to do a job and be useful very quickly. So we focused a program on the tasks and services that our customers and partners said, if you had a talent pool that could do these things, we would hire them. So it's really practical work back from job vacancies. And if you look at the skills gap that I've referred to, it's huge. So in 2020, the year of the pandemic, where everything was going crazy anyway, there was still 756,000 unfilled ICT vacancies just in Europe alone. And a recent study in Poland was saying that Polish enterprises, so customers in Poland, 44% of them were struggling to find enough people to work in ICT. So this is a global problem, it's a European problem, and very specifically, you can see it's a big problem in Poland as well. And that's not just a problem for the here and now. You'll see on this chart here, the growth of cloud adoption in Poland over the last several years. And you'll notice again, if you read any studies of job vacancies, this cloud resource gap is not diminishing, it's getting bigger year on year. So if you were nervous about reskilling into the cloud and into tech, hopefully you'll see that there's lots and lots of vacancies and lots of need for these skills out the other side. So let me tell you a bit about the programme. If you could just move on, Ruslan, thank you. Thank you. So high level view of the curriculum. So the first thing to say is it's a 12-week full-time programme that takes you from no tech skills up to being useful and productive in a cloud environment. So we focus on a few key things. From a technical perspective, we focus on AWS core services, obviously. We also focus on Python and Linux and Bash scripting. And I mention those things because even non-AWS customers require those skills as well. So this isn't just a way of us supporting our customers and partners, but supporting our learners with skills that are really highly sought after in the marketplace. Alongside the tech skills, we'll provide you with soft skills as well. So there's lots of modules in there to help you in terms of understanding how to operate in a corporate environment and also in a technical environment as well. So things like communication skills, problem solving skills, etc. So at the end of the 12 weeks, you should not only have a great array of day one ready technical skills, but also feel confident that you're a well-rounded employee as well. And of course, the missing piece in this is to make sure that you build your skills and confidence in interviewing techniques and CV writing as well. So it's a really hands-on program. So there'll be some lesson time where you're absorbing new information, lots of hands-on lab time where you go into a sandbox environment and perform tasks. So you get to practice the skills you're learning every step of the way. And then at the end of each module, there's a knowledge check. So you can be confident that you've understood all of the concepts. And if not, the team of instructors will help you double down on any of those areas that haven't quite fallen into place. And then the magic ingredient at the end of the program is to make sure that you're connected to job opportunities at the end of the program. So as I said, the most important part of the program isn't just certification, it's creating day one ready skills. And this is what our partner network really needs. I see Russell nodding along here. So at the end of the program, believe it or not, you will be able to automate manual tasks using Python, which a sentence in its own might seem alien today, but these are the types of things that are useful and you'll be able to do. You'll be able to configure an S3 bucket, which is a virtual cloud data holder. So you'll be able to configure an S3 bucket. You'll be able to monitor security events as well. So what all of these sentences are saying is that you'll have day one ready skills that lots of different IT teams find valuable. So some skills that support data activities, some that support security activities, and some that support the very big sought after skill of automation as well. So that's what you'll have over the 12 weeks. And then over the next 6 months after that, we'll support you whilst you're working as well to increase that skill set even further. So you'll be in a mindset of learning. And whilst you're in that mindset, we want to help you. So you'll still have access to the same digital platform that you'd have been used to from the classroom, and we'll help you develop your skills into one of 3 career pathways, either a solutions architect, a developer, or a SysOps engineer. So you might be sitting there today thinking, well, am I right for tech, and what can I really bring to all of those open vacancies, especially if you've got no experience? But let me explain to you that tech has changed a significant amount over the last probably 5 to 6 years, not just in terms of the technologies we're all using, which changes on a continuous basis, but in terms of the people and the mindset and the ways of working. And that's allowed us to really open up the vacancies to lots of different types of people. So what technical teams need now is people that look, sound like, can represent all of the users that they're building products and services for. So without diversity in tech, products are quite narrow-minded. They don't think about all of the end users and how it might be used in their environments. So what we're really looking for from a technical environment is great collaborators. So now as we move into a DevOps environment, developers and operational teams work together, not just to build a product, but to understand how to launch it in an environment as well. So now we need great collaborators, which probably wasn't the case if we look at back-end developers, for example, back in the day. The strange middle logo represents people that are quick learners. So part of our selection process will help you to understand if you'll be able to keep pace, not just with the program, but if you've got a natural instinct to continue to learn. So if you're naturally inclined to go away and research things and look at new products and services. So for employers, therefore, we're looking for people that don't just have a set of skills on day one, but are naturally intrigued by what's going on and will continue to develop in that way. And the final picture really represents people that will represent how users will use products and services. So not just writing neat code that looks really perfect, but making sure that we're producing products that are easy and intuitive to use. And the final loops represent people that are willing to fail fast. What we don't need anymore in tech is people that want to build the perfect product first time and take a year to get to that point. What we want is people that are willing to dive in, create something that's good enough to launch, and then not be too worried about iterating once it's been launched. So making sure that people are happy to launch, fail fast if necessary, learn from that and move on, which is quite a different mindset again to what most of us are used to in a corporate environment. Thank you, Ruslan. So don't just take my word for it. There's lots of Restart employers out there. So over the last, I was going to say 12 months, but in 2021, over 500 of our customers and partners hired from the programme. So that hopefully reassures you that we're producing the right skill set, and we're selecting the right people to launch their careers in tech as well. And what you'll notice on here is there's lots of different types of organisation. So throughout the programme, because it's one single trainer that's with you for 12 weeks, they'll help you to understand if you thrive in a big environment, a large project, if you're more of a developer or more of a solutions architect. You won't know those naturally on day one, but that's what will help you to understand and then connect you with the right projects and skill sets. There's lots of employer feedback, and I won't read these out verbatim. We've got a couple of slides on these, but what I will say to you is that what I love to hear and what I hear really regularly from employers is Restart learners are simply quite awesome. They're quite different to what our employers find if they put an advert out in the open environment through social media, through normal job sites. Our learners are truly resilient. They are really passionate, they go the extra mile, they fit in really well in a team environment, and they land with skills that are really useful on day one. So if you were to read this or the next slide, that's the type of statements you'll see from lots of our customers and partners.
Yeah, thanks, Claire, for this amazing feedback and sharing your point of view on this. And probably I just wanted to comment on a couple of things. The first one, that's about like it's not only about technical things, not only about skills, and you're right. So this DevOps environment and so on, we have technical people, we have technologies, we have processes, and we have people, and it's important to be creative. And in our CUE, for example, we have different projects of different complexity, the tools, technologies that we use, but we need creative people. People who can think extraordinary, so people who can solve the problems in a way that hasn't been used before, you know. So it's like the first time you do that, the first time you propose a solution, and this solution helps you to solve the specific business needs, business problems, accelerate digital transformation for the customers, and later the solution can be reused for other customers, and you can build something repeatable from your original solution. And for that, we need creativity. And I understand that sometimes this creativity is something that we can get from people without this technical skills and background. People who tried themselves in, I don't know, different areas, painters, or probably some authors, or some other people who tried them really with the different skills, and now they want to become like get this technical knowledge and join this path of cloud engineers. And the second thing, and by the way, a great example among those guys who originally participated in our hiring event, one of them, he was a lawyer in his previous life. And that helped him a lot, because a lawyer, those people, they are like strict to processes. They follow the processes. They want to know the root cause of any problem and find a solution. And that helped him a lot. So right now he's working on a project with the application modernization, with the migration to containers, and implementation of the solution for the management of thousands of the applications and production environments. And that helps him a lot again. So that's true. And talking about continuous learning and the technologies that are not the same today and tomorrow, that's true. 3 years ago, I passed the first time I passed a professional essay exam, and this summer, August actually, last month, I had to recertify my exam, and I took this exam again, and I was surprised because no questions that are similar to previous ones. So even like directions, even like technologies that I was asking for, or I don't know, some specific details or implementation or approaches. So that was like a different exam, really. And I realized that, yes, your journey, that's like continuous learning. And right now, it doesn't matter if you start like today, or you started like a week ago or 10 years ago. It's important to understand that you need to learn new things. You need to adjust. You need to get this recent experience, best practices, and so on. And that's why that's the perfect way to say that it's not like the perfect time to join. So each time slot is perfect for you to join and start building your cloud engineer career. So talking about that, we have this restart program, the first cohort that starts in 2 weeks. So please use this QR code that you have on the screen. It's the link that will allow you to apply for this program. Will be notified about your application form and about your response, and we'll process this form as soon as possible, and we'll get back to you with the response. And yeah, hope you'll be a good candidate to join the first cohort. Good. Now let's talk a bit more about cloud engineering, about what AWS cloud is and why it's important to consider yourself for becoming like a cloud engineer. And let me start with this picture. Like before clouds, we had like a common IT world. Let's say we had data centers. So we still have data centers, and in data center, you're responsible for everything. You're responsible for equipment. You're responsible for networking. You're responsible for security of rooms where your servers are hosted, and so on and so forth. And this picture that's actually illustrates how things going in a real world when you inform your boss that you have a server crashed. Sometimes it means that it's physically crashed, literally crashed. Yes. So in a cloud world, the things are a bit different. In the cloud world, you have a bit different model because you have AWS, Amazon Web Services, and you have AWS Cloud. And this cloud provider, they are responsible for physical environment, for servers, and for let's say hardware that we have for networking, for security of those components, physical security of those components, and so on and so forth. And cloud engineers, that's the people who actually build solutions based on the services provided by this cloud provider. So cloud engineers, they don't care about hardware anymore. They don't need to know if things are going, the things are normal with the hard disk drive, or it should be changed, updated. They don't think about like the healthiest of the CPU or memory. Again, they think only about services. In AWS, we have 3 models. We have platform as a service, we have infrastructure as a service, and we have software as a service, or SaaS. So you can use any of these 3 models to build your solutions and to deliver services to your customers. Infrastructure as a service, really, that's when you just buy some sort of like infrastructure from AWS. So you care about virtual machines that you launch for your needs, for your purposes, and you request this virtual machines. So platform as a service, that's the next step. So think about like containerization, for example, and you have managed Kubernetes service or container service from AWS, ECS, that you can use, and you don't care about virtual machines anymore because you have like a control plane, you have this hidden under the hood, and you have the service provided to you from AWS. And software as a service, that's a model when you have some sort of like subscriptions. Imagine that you have Amazon Prime Video, or you have Netflix, and you have a subscription, and you want to watch a movie, and you can just take your remote controller, select the movie that you want to watch, and you'll see it. The same with SaaS. So again, life is simplified, and this simplification brings some benefits to clients and helps clients to accelerate their digital transformation. Because again, if you have less time that you spend for investing in your hardware, investing in your data centers, in the networking connectivity, in the security of this data center, protection, some additional capacity that you need for some peaks, probably the substitution of this hardware for any sort of like spare capacity, again, that you need in case of any failure. So think that right now you don't need to invest into those things, and you can focus on your solutions. You can simplify delivery model. Talking about, again, cloud computing, so think about that you pay for services, as I mentioned previously, as for subscriptions. So you pay as you go. You use the service, you pay for that. So you need the service, you request the service, you pay for it. So that's the same like you go into a gas station and you need some gasoline for your car. You just use as much as you need and pay for that, or water supply, or power or electricity that's used for your houses. So again, you turn on the light, you pay for that light that you consumed. You turn off it and you won't pay anymore. The same with AWS cloud services, bunch of services, bunch of solutions that can be used. And you pay only for what you use. No investment in advance, flexibility, scalability. And that's a mindset that should be, let's say, the proper mindset of cloud engineers. So previously, system administrators, they cared about the servers. They cared about those. That's like a concept, pets versus cattle. So they cared about the servers as about their pets. They cared about each server. They new names of those servers and each hardware component. But right now, you don't need to care about this physical environment, physical infrastructure. You care only about your product that delivers some value to your customers. And from infrastructure perspective, you have cattle. So you don't care about number of virtual machines and so on. You can easily substitute one machine with another one. Or if you use SaaS, it's even simpler. So that's like serverless model. You don't care about virtual machines anymore. You have your application, you have your code that is developed and code that brings some value to your customers. And that's those things, they become like primary AWS cloud drivers. So why customers, why they decide to move to AWS cloud, why they decide to move to the cloud. First of all, that's speed and agility. So again, think about new features, like you have your, let's say, retail store, you have, or a pizza restaurant. So let's simplify things. You have pizza restaurant and you have a competitor. You have your neighbor who has a pizza restaurant as well. And you understand that the same pizza, the same quality, but your neighbor can introduce, your competitor can introduce some sort of like online shopping and online delivery. So why not do that? Yes, let's do that. Next thing, introduce payment with the Bitcoin, for example, another feature. And when you have enough speed and agility to introduce those features to your products, you will become more, you'll get more clients, because fighting with your competitors, you will get these benefits of new features and solutions that you can introduce to your customers. Breadth of functionality. Again, in AWS, you are not limited with the specific features, with the specific functions and so on. So you can be creative, you can do whatever you want, and you can think about data and analytics. You can build machine learning models, and you can use the data insights to provide some sort of like outputs that you need for your business. Cost efficiency, as I mentioned previously, in the cloud, we have a pay-as-you-go model. So in fact, you don't have investments in advance, and you just pay for what you use. Benefits from massive economies at scale. I believe that during this 12 weeks of Restart program, you'll learn about this, but when you consume and you understand how much resources, the cloud resources you'll consume, you can build some sort of like forecast, and according to this forecast, you can use different options to save your costs. For example, you can use savings models, you can use the reserved instances and other things in order to optimize your costs and pay even less because of discount that will be provided by AWS. Stop guessing capacity. I believe people who joined this webinar who had some experience with the buying some servers or physical equipment, they know how it's difficult to choose a proper capacity, how to plan that. But in AWS, you don't need to plan. With clouds, you can request resources when you need them. So that's another important benefit. No significant investment in advance because you don't need to guess about capacity. shared responsibility model, and strong security posture. So as I mentioned previously, in AWS cares about security of the cloud, and you care only about security in the cloud. So like security of your applications, but everything else, physical security of the servers, the security of networking connectivity and other things, that's something that AWS will care about. Going global in minutes. Right now, AWS has more than 20 regions across the globe. And if you have a global company and today you have your business and new product that you want to launch in Europe, and tomorrow you want to launch the same product for Asian market or for the market in the United States, you can easily do that by requesting infrastructure globally within the seconds, really. Comparing to the previous approach when you had to go and call to a data center, request for capacity, or sign a contract for that data center and capacity there, buy hardware for a specific data center, deliver that hardware there. Right now, things are simplified with this cloud approach. And automation, another important skill, that's automation. So with the clouds, you can automate things, you can automate processes, not just code delivery processes, but also some sort of like security prevention and detection controls and other things. So that's the benefits of the cloud. And talking about AWS global infrastructure, so as I mentioned, 27 launched regions with multiple availability zones. So currently that's like 87 availability zones across the globe. Each availability zone, that's a separate data center. So with this global presence, you can build a resilient infrastructure. You can build infrastructure that will be there for your customers, even in case of failure of any specific data center. And within this 12 weeks of restart program, you will learn what does it mean to build highly available infrastructure, what does it mean to use a multi-easy setup, and so on and so forth. And 410 plus points of presence, that's like edge locations where you can host like content and use a content delivery network in order to deliver content faster to some regional customers. So, and 200 plus services available right now. So as I mentioned previously, you can choose. You need some customization, you need to operate with the virtual machines, you can choose EC2. You don't need this level of granularity, you don't need this level of configuration and so on. You can choose RDS to manage a database, and you don't need to tune this database anymore, or you can use EKS, ECS services in order to simplify containers orchestration. Or you can switch to a serverless model and use Lambdas, use Fargate, and use a SaaS, software as a services approach, to simplify things even more. And your goal as a cloud engineer is to use this services available from AWS, use the services. So imagine that those services, they are like Lego blocks. And from those Lego blocks, you need to build this picture, this the full picture, this environment that will deliver some value to customers. And that's your role. That's exactly your role. That's how you can imagine your job as a cloud engineer. And I know that some of these words you probably heard the first time in your life, and probably want to know more or a real experience from a real cloud architect. So probably you don't trust me, my experience as a cloud architect, but we also have Jarek today. So Jarek, if you don't mind, I would like to ask you to share your experience and talk a bit more about cloud engineering role, about your particular challenges and your career path in this.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ruslan. So yeah, give me someone local, and someone local will tell you the truth, right? This is what we're trying to say. So as Ruslan said, some of the things that he mentioned, it sounds a bit like a rocket science or a quantum physics, but in reality, you know, we hopefully you will learn all these things, and you will start just using exactly the same terminology during this this program, because it's not really that difficult to start. The opportunity is there, and what the cloud engineering perspectives are. Some of the things has been mentioned here already, and some of the statistics from different reports has been shared with you already. But it's actually the future. I even can say it's the present, because the future was like couple of years ago. Now the cloud is kind of like something that is now, and it will be just continuously developed. But as we've spoken already about some of the statistics, it is really important to understand that the cloud adoption raises what Claire mentioned about when COVID kicked off and so on. There was so many people on the market that were not available, and companies needed to hire them. A lot of businesses, they actually moved, about 61% of the businesses, they moved over to the cloud when COVID kicked off. So this is the scale we're talking about. And obviously cloud give you the great technology, and great technology enables and great solutions and generates opportunities at the same time. Some of you probably can imagine the situation that, for example, watching the F5 racing, right? What you see on the screen, all the statistics, some metrics from the cars and bullets, and how fast they actually change things, etc. This is all the data and analytics. That data and analytics, it needs to be gathered from somewhere and needs to be processed and displayed. That's AWS, right? Actually, F5 and AWS work in a close relationship. If you can imagine that you are, I don't know, Elon Musk, and you design your own space station, right? AWS actually have a service that is a ground station that you can use your satellites and collect the data from these satellites. This is the technology. And also, I don't know, maybe you don't like your mobile providers, right? Now AWS also offers you that you can be a mobile provider, more or less, private, but still, yeah, 5G solutions. So the great technology actually enables the businesses to think about these kind of solutions that they want to deliver to the customer and innovate. I don't want to mention about the skill gap because we covered that already, but we've got many specializations. Cloud engineering and generally the IT is like doctors, right? We've got loads of specialties. You can move in many directions, and it's really up to you, or in our case, in the Restart program, that the teacher or the tutor will be trying to work with you and try to find the best path for you to start from, right? It's not like if you will start, for example, as a cloud engineer, and you will develop some of the other skill set, or you work on a project that may be related to some kind of like a IoT devices, and you will find that very interesting. You can switch over because you already have this baseline. And digital transformation is quite important because you can imagine that the companies are going through this process. So they're digitalizing their solutions, right? Wherever you go, technology is there. Whatever you touch now, walking on the pavement, whatever you look at is filled with the technology. Even the post with the lamps or whatever, right? There is some technology behind it. And more transformation means more people needed to help with these transformations, which means the market will only grow. And in terms of the endless opportunities, as I mentioned about the technology and this transformation, these kind of things like come together. And because we have many directions and specializations, you can imagine that the world is basically, or offers the endless opportunities. But the most important opportunity, I think, is when you will start in the IT, you will suddenly become an expert from everything in your family, right? So if someone wants to buy a phone, you will be the person to go. If someone will try to, I don't know, break or the microwave will break, you suddenly will become an expert because you work in IT. That's obviously a joke, but I'm not sure if everyone got it. So we can move over. Let's talk about my career and why I've chosen AWS as a kind of like a primary cloud provider. So I started very early at the age of 15, when most of my friends, they played on PlayStation or on Quake or whatever. I started being interested more in this kind of like an IT and mainly Linux operating systems. So I started actually my first professional work when I was around 19, and I went through the entire path from like a beginning, right? So I worked in the IT support, supporting end customers. Then I became the systems administrator, having more responsibilities related to maintaining and basically installing and making sure that the systems are alive. Then I moved my career to profile myself to just work on the Linux systems, and I was administrator in one of the biggest web hosting companies in Europe. And at this point, I started recognizing that if I will stay as a Linux administrator for the next couple of years, I will probably struggle on the market, because the cloud started being more and more popular. I knew nothing about this, and that's why I'm kind of like a DevOps engineer as a kind of like my key turn in the career. And because I was what we call T-shaped, so basically I had a very broad skill set, but I had like one specialization, which is obviously mainly around Linux automation and things like this, but I didn't know anything about the cloud. It allowed me to kind of like have a better start to be a cloud engineer. And I chose an AWS because it's the biggest cloud provider. It actually has 33% of the market. So there are obviously two competitors that have altogether, they don't have as much market share as AWS itself. It's the fastest growing cloud. It's the most secure, because AWS has the most or is compliant with the most security standards. As Ruslan mentioned, there is many regions available, so you can actually cover most of the countries, which gives you opportunities to work on the project. And I had my first project on AWS starting as a DevOps engineer as well, which kind of like proved me that I'm going in the right direction. And then I transitioned over to the team lead. I became a team leader for a couple of DevOps engineers. And then I moved over to use my past experience to become a solutions architect, which is now about over 15 years of experience in total. During that time, I managed to get 6 AWS certifications, so I only have 6 more to go. But I think I've got 6 that are the most applicable for my job. And as of beginning of this year, I also became an AWS ambassador, which is quite prestigious status. I'm the second in Poland, and there is about 240 people at this point in time across the entire world with this prestigious status. And what is good about it is constantly learning. As we mentioned already, technology changes. Ruslan talk about his experience from the past exam that he had to recertify. And he's surprised that, oh, I didn't get exactly the same questions that I got used to. So this is the learning curve. And this is something that you need to be really ready for. I always compare my job to be a doctor, that you need to learn all the time. Yeah. Otherwise, if you will allow yourself to be a bit stubborn or a bit lazy, right, in a couple of years, you will have difficulties to kind of like catch up with the latest and the greatest. So if we talk now about the Center of Excellence at SoftServe, why this is a great place to be, and the picture here is not accidental. We are kind of like a superheroes a bit, which is maybe a bit selfish, but I'm sorry, this is what we are. So we kind of like, in SoftServe, we are a highly recognized business unit. We have our own kind of like, I don't know, awards and whatever. We've got the most talented people. We have people who are put their hearts and their souls into kind of like developing themselves, are passionate about the technology. So that's why they are obviously recognized experts. But besides that, they really nice people, right? It's not like lawyers, for example, which Ruslan mentioned about, that they're quite specific. We are okay. COE is dealing with the strategic projects, as Ruslan mentioned already. So you can imagine a situation that I was involved in in such a project, not necessarily at SoftServe, but previously, one of the fast food restaurants managed to, I don't know, release some kind of like a self-service kiosk, right? So you get in, you just click the buttons, and you order what you want. So I was actually participating in this project. So it's nice to see when you walk into this restaurant, not very often, occasionally, of course, to keep my shape, my body in shape. And you walk in and you see that you build this, or you help to build this. Right? This is something that nobody will actually take away from you in terms of the pride. Or you can imagine that you can have the project which is about the delivery tracking. You order the food and you can see that the driver on the map is actually going to your house with the food delivery. Right? This is the technology behind it as well. And these are quite exciting projects to work on. It's a chance for the rapid skills development, because in here because of the strategic projects and the importance of this project, we kind of like work on slightly different pace, which allows you the rapid skills development. But we are also individuals and we are also people, right? So we are recognized as humans. So we have our personal goals, and we also work here mainly to support our personalized goals and our self-development. So our managers and are working hard to kind of like fit the projects into what we are really interested in. It's not like you will get a project that it's not something that you're interested in, but we're trying to help you to fit into the right skill set to the right project. And most important thing, we're building solutions, right? So we have ideas. This is what Ruslan mentioned about the creativity. We need people who are creative to help us build the solutions that we can deliver to the customers and be unique, be recognized for something that we did, maybe as a first company or even first people on this planet, right? So this is really a high recognition. And I think that's it from me. We can go move over to the questions and answers section. So I'll pass it over back to Ruslan.
Yeah, thanks, Jarek. That was like amazing insight and the feedback about your career, about your past. And as a conclusion, never stop learning, never. And it's never too late to start your personal changes and changes in your career. So questions. Yeah, I know that's a lot of things going on, and I know that you probably have a bunch of questions you don't know what to start with, but please feel free to share your thoughts, share your questions, and happy to answer them. Julia, do you know?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Дякую, дуже гарна презентація. So my name is Nazar, I'm from Ukraine. Just would like to say thank you for the brilliant presentation you gave to all us, and I learned a lot, but my question is more practical. So it was mentioned already that the significance of the IT background is not critical for the restart program in AWS. So I was wondering how difficult it might be for someone who doesn't have IT experience of the great extent as you got to successfully go through the training, because Claire, she mentioned Python, which is something that you need to know as well. It's just a module of many sort of little things. Would it be quite possible to successfully accomplish the training and change your career, if you like, if my background wasn't really in IT?
Yeah, it's a great question, Naz. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. It's designed for people just like you that have not had a career in tech before. So you are exactly the type of person that is successful through the program. And what we're looking for the tech industry is people with different backgrounds. So don't worry, it builds very slowly from day one, and you'll be surprised how in just a few weeks you'll be using the right vocabulary, you'll start recognizing terms, but it takes you from no knowledge very slowly and then gathers momentum of all the different terms and skills you need, and you get to practice it hands-on as well, which really consolidates the knowledge. So yeah, we don't assume anybody has any prior technical experience at all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Just another one leading to that answer. I went through the description of this course, and the entry requirements were for those who are actually residing in Poland and for those who are in possession of the residence card for Poland. Now, currently I don't reside in Poland. I'm a Ukrainian citizen, and I'm from Ukraine, Lviv. So I was wondering, is there any flexibility within the terms and conditions for the acceptance for the course with regards of that? So maybe somebody from the
SoftServe. Yeah, thanks for this question. So we can discuss this separately and discuss how we can proceed at that case. But the reason why we asked people to legally stay in Poland and be in Poland, because as an outcome of this program, we will provide you with the job offer, and that will be a job offer for SoftServe Poland. But again, let's discuss. Probably you can join next cohort that will launch, or probably even for this cohort. But let's discuss this separately, if you don't mind.
Right. Oh, thank you so much for your answers. Very kind of you.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Дякуємо.
Дякую.
Good. Any other questions?
Yes,
We've got some questions on the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, chat. Yeah, we have chat. Sorry, forgot about chat. No, that's a good question about fees. Some fee to pay if you will not pass some exam. So talking about exams and talking about the benefits of this program. So at the end of this program, if you successfully completed of all this hands-on lab works and so on, you'll have a voucher for the cloud practitioner certification exam. So that's voucher that's free of charge for you, no commitments and so on. And we'll do our best to prepare you to that exam. And we hope that you'll be properly prepared to this exam and successfully pass it. But if not, no fees, no penalties for that. So again, it's not a problem. Yes. And another question is that about what do you expect from participants? I believe nothing else except what we already discussed. Claire mentioned that it's important to be ready to learn. Doesn't important to have any automation skills or cloud skills, because that's something that we'll teach you during this 12 weeks, step by step. And this legal part, just to stay in Poland or be ready to work in Poland, that's again just because SoftServe Poland will provide you with the job offer, and that's probably and English. Yeah, obviously English. Unfortunately, the first cohort will be in English because we want to target Ukrainian and the Polish people. So no worries. If you prefer to write, no worries. So that's good. I see this comment. Yes, thanks, Gosha. I hope I correctly spell your name. So, good. I see that Tulu has a hand raised. So, could you please unmute? Yeah.
Hi. Okay, just a quick one. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, after completing the program, yes, there's a job offer. Are participants allowed to take an offer based on a B2B contract?
Yeah, so talking about B2B or B2C contracts, let's discuss that separately with our managers, if you don't mind. So just send your request form and apply to this program, and you'll have a chance to discuss these things. But yeah. Good, thank you.
I also have a question. So I'm also currently not in Poland. I'm in South Africa. So I'm also wondering, how do I get involved in the program? My other question is that I'm currently working. So how does the program work for someone who is currently employed?
Are you looking to relocate to Poland, or are you looking to study and change your career in South Africa?
I want to change a career in South Africa.
Okay, I'll take that one then, Ruslan.
Yeah.
So the program runs in South Africa. It is a full-time program over 12 weeks. So if you work full-time during the day, that would be a challenge to attend. But the program does run in South Africa on a continual basis as well. So if you want to reach out to me through LinkedIn, I can connect you to some of our delivery partners that are delivering this across South Africa.
Yeah, thanks, Claire. So really,
thanks.
I believe it is like a AWS Restart website dedicated to that. So you can search there for local partners and find information about local Restart partners who conduct this program and who actually run cohorts there. So yeah, that's probably the best way for you. But I'm great that, and really I'm happy that we have people not just from Poland or Ukraine, but also from South Africa who are interested in this program. So thanks for your questions. Yeah, so another question from Paulo, if you don't go from Ukraine, is that's a problem. So again, Paulo, let's discuss that, because as I mentioned previously, we have some opportunities. So probably that can be some remote work, or you can apply for the next cohort. I hope that the next cohort will be for Ukraine and for Ukrainian people too. So again, let's discuss that offline, if you don't mind. Great question about university student. So can you combine and study in this program and also study in the university? So Claire, do you have any experience previously with other candidates or students?
I do. I think the first thing to say is it's really important that this is a job, a workforce development program. So it's okay if you're in university at the moment, as long as by the end of it, you are ready to take a full-time permanent job in the cloud. So if you're nearing the end of your degree, that makes sense. And we do have people that join the program whilst they're finishing formal education. The two things that are important are you can study full-time during the day over a 12-week period, and you're ready to launch your career at the end of the program, ideally week 13. But if there's a slight gap, I'm sure, Ruslan, they could speak to you about that. So it's an incredibly accessible program, but if you're only in year 1 or 2 of a university program and still have a year to go, I would just pick up the program later on. It's just important that you're job ready at the end of it. Otherwise, the skills will just be outdated and lost by the time you're ready to leave university.
Yeah, thanks, Claire. And another important thing, so again, that's just the first cohort, the pilot cohort.
Yeah.
We already have an agreement with the AWS team to launch next cohorts. And as I mentioned previously, it's just for Poland, but we're still think that next cohort will have an opportunity to launch next cohort in Ukraine too. So we'll do our best. Of course, we'll stay in progress with all the updates, but I hope that we'll extend our presence and launch multiple cohorts. Anyway, don't think that's the only one chance, the only one opportunity. In 12 weeks, you'll have yet another one. So good. And I believe Claire just answered to another question about schedule. So yes, it's Monday to Friday, 12 weeks, and you need to dedicate your time to this program and learn. So this new skills, hands-on lab works, and so on. So
Ruslan, I need to jump to another call now. I'm ever so sorry, but perhaps if any questions come up that are broader than what you're doing, you could message me afterwards and we can pick those up with the candidates, if that's okay.
Yeah, thanks, Claire. Thanks for your time. Thanks for joining our webinar. I think, yeah, that's the last question and we can wrap up. If you have any other questions, Yulia, if you don't mind, could you please share in the chat for everyone email address of our Restart program, so people just can send us email and ask their questions if they still doubt or state about this. So
yes, sure. After this webinar, all people who registered, yes, they will get the link to the description of this program, as well as our email and this presentation and recording of this webinar. So all this information will be sent to all the participants via email.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks. And probably a last couple of questions I can take, and all other questions will reply offline in emails. So if I will receive a job offer immediately after the program, so that's a good question. As Claire mentioned, yes, 12 weeks, that's a program, week 13, that's for interview and job offer. if you successfully passed this architecture cloud practitioner exam, I'm sorry, and if you successfully close the requirements of this course of this program, you'll get this job offer, and that will be right after your graduation from this program, official graduation. Moreover, for people who will show their let's say skills, or will show that they have this goal and continuous growing and continuously improve skills and so on, we have an opportunity for some of them to consider engagement to real projects starting week number 8 and working as like a trainee engineer. So that can be even earlier probably. So again, thanks for these questions. And selected candidates will receive a job offer. No, according to the requirements, the cohort will have about 25-ish people join the first cohort. If you close the criteria, so like number of lab works that you need to complete, the courses and so on, and taking this exam, and you get this badge as a graduated person from the Restart program, you'll get the job offer. So to be clear here. And last question, that's about flexibility. So unfortunately, it's up to you. Why unfortunately? Because unfortunately we cannot adjust our schedule, and it's Monday to Friday and 6 to 8 weeks per day. And for 12 weeks, if you have no opportunities to join and participate in those sessions, probably that's not the best program for you, and you should choose other options, other opportunities that we have. So just review our career.softserveinc.com website and find information about other courses and the programs that we have. Good. I think we can wrap up. Thank you again for your time today. I know that's a lot of other questions, but we are running 7 minutes late. So that's great that you have all these questions. Don't hesitate to reach us out using this email that Julia shared with you. Reply to email that you will receive after this webinar with the link to this webinar, to the recording of this webinar. Thanks again for your participation. Jarek, thank you for sharing your experience and telling people about your journey, and not the straightforward, but the journey to the cloud engineer role. So thank you, everyone. And yeah, have a good rest of the day and a productive week. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruslan. Thank you, guys. So you will get an email after this webinar, and we are waiting for your applications. So thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.